That's basically the whole theory behind infinite banking, is accumulate money and then pull policy loans and go do things with your money. And I don't care what you do with your money. It makes no difference to me at all. Everybody has their little place that they love to. Whole life has just become a really neat environment for me to accumulate money. In the first year, what you pay in premium and paid up additions, now the paid up additions is the additional cash that you put into a life insurance policy. If you pay the premium and overfund the policy, your first year cash value is sitting at about 70% of what you put in. So instantly you've got money available to you. Second year, 75 to 80% in cash value. Third year, 85 to 90, 95 to 100. Fourth, fifth, sixth year, policy broke even. You've got all the cash that you put in is now sitting in cash value. And the whole time you have access and control of that money. So if something turns upside down in your life and you've got to borrow money out of your policy while you're funding it, fine. You can borrow money to buy groceries if you had to. You can borrow money to pay the premiums if you had to. You can borrow money to loan money to your brother. I don't care what you do with the money. As that policy grows, you have access and control of the money. Now, I hope that you can just pound into this thing and get it to self-fund. And once they self-fund, the dividend's high enough to cover that premium and the policy just takes care of itself. So if we can get, I can get a whole life policy to self-fund in 4 years. If we backdate the policy and fund it at the beginning of every year, we can get a whole life policy to self-fund in about 2.5 years. So you've got to have a little window in your life where you're okay with tucking money away for a minute. And as long as you're okay with tucking that money away, the policy's going to self-fund. I promise you it will. I've seen it just hundreds of times. They just do. Overfund, pay the premium. Overfund, pay the premium. Overfund, pay the premium, and the policy self-fund. And I've got these businesses that I've built, and I've taught my boys how to do things, and they're building their own companies. And one day when Dad's gone, this money will come along, and they'll just take it and roll it into life insurance policies and borrow from it, and we've created this perpetual family wealth. Now we've created this banking system that we pass from generation to generation, and because it's happening in life insurance, it's a non-taxable event. And so I'm creating these little banks that I'm teaching my families. All my boys have self-funding whole life. I started life insurance policies on my youngest son when he was born, and my other two sons, when they were little, 4, 5, 6 years old, I was writing life insurance policies on them, paying the premiums, overfunding, paying the premiums, overfunding, paying the premiums, overfunding. My boys will never go to a bank. What do they need to go to a bank for? They'll never pay interest to anyone but themselves. My sons want trucks in high school. Well, if they have good jobs and they're working hard and they want to buy trucks, we will borrow money from their policies, and they'll make truck payments like everybody else. And when the trucks are paid off, we own the banks, we have all the interest that they paid, and there's cash values to do something else with. It's just about, it's teaching that responsibility and accountability for money, which is huge because as a society we don't get that. And so it teaches us accountability. Hey, you know what? You're more than welcome to use this money. Now, I hope you use this money and go do something good with it, and it will come back to you and you'll fill your policy back up, which will let you use this money again and go do something else with it. And maybe you'll just buy yourself a car. And then you'll save money back into your policy so that when your car's a piece of junk, you can buy a new one. Imagine that. Instead of always having to go to the banks and borrow money.